Good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML Division 4. We are here for the final round of the championship as we take in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from the Yas Marina circuit. My name is James, I'm going to be taking you through the stream as always, and joining me in the commentary box is the third different commentator in about as many weeks. It is my Division 1 co-coms, it is Mr. Luke Etheridge. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Good evening, James. Good evening to everyone who's watching. Have a good Friday to those who celebrate if you've had a day off work, which I haven't. It's nice to feel nice and refreshed by 8 PM on a Friday evening. Really looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to getting to talk over a championship battle at the final race of the season.
Yeah, one of the rare occurrences, I think, in TTML coming into the final round of the championship. We've actually got a championship battle that's going for the title here tonight. Magnus leads on 194 points after a stunning victory last time out, of course, in Brazil. Zam in second, Neymar in third. What did that do to the title? Well, Magnus on top on 194 points. He's got 20 points over Atlas Coppo in second on 174. Championship permutations basically are, if Magnus outscores Atlas Coppo, he will win the championship. Atlas Coppo has got to get 21 points to outscore Magnus. Basically, Atlas Coppo has got to win, and Magnus has got to be something like 11th or 12th in the championship, in the race here tonight. There's only 14 drivers, so that might be quite hard to do. Khan in third on 123, Sygate fourth on 119, Ryan fifth on 111, Zam in sixth on 103, Jibby Storm in seventh on 101, Storm in eighth on 97, Maximus in ninth on 89, and Damon in 10th on 88. Running down the rest of the field, we've got Neymar in 11th on 87, one of the most improved drivers of the season, Way in 12th on 74, Black Phoenix in 13th, 72, Frey Pepper and Traxy tied for 14th on 70, Luke Ajax in 16th on 69, again another driver that's really coming under the radar. Tekken in 17th on 33, Florine in 18th on 25, Barcelona 19th on 24, and Joro in 20th on 23 points. And Luke, we have got a battle coming into tonight between the two Ferraris. I don't think, honestly, we've ever seen a Ferrari on Ferrari battle going into the final round of the season in sim racing, let alone in the real world as well.
Yeah, if there's one thing Ferrari are known for, and it has done well for them. 2007 season comes to mind. They pick a number one driver, and they put everything behind that number one driver. We sort of saw that in a way in Division 1, obviously, with Perpetuum taking the title and Carlsby being a backup, and a decent backup, of course, for Ferrari winning the title when it was needed. But this season has been so ridiculously close. We were just talking about before the stream started, 8 different winners in 10 races. It is only Magnus and Ryan that have won multiple races, 7 different winners in the first 7 races, in fact. So who knows who could end up taking the victory tonight. It could be really close. As you said, it's 21 points is what Atlas Coppo needs to score over Magnus, so a bare minimum for Atlas, and this is assuming Magnus does not finish, is third with the fastest lap, or fourth with a pole position and a fastest lap, and that's if Magnus gets no points whatsoever. So it's going to be pretty tough, especially in the form Magnus seems to be in at the moment. It is going to be pretty tough for Atlas, but he's going to give it us all. And as we've seen previously, you can make different strategies work around here. There can be virtual safety cars and full safety cars that could just make things a bit more difficult.
Well, we saw with Verstappen in Division 1, didn't he? He won the race in Division 1. He took that one stop to the end, albeit because of a safety car as well that came out as a result of a crash in that race. But one stop can be done around here, and it was nearly proven actually last night before the safety car came out once again and the safety car restart, that controversial safety car restart, I've got to be honest, with XL Ryan, who was actually signed up for the championship, saying last night he wasn't going to sign up. Now he has. So obviously there's been a change in his tone, which is very good to see. We are about to get going though, 25 seconds then on the clock until we get going for the final round of the season. And hopefully these guys do not keep on clicking on the lobby settings on the right hand side and flicking ready up, because we need to get going. We're not going to wait until Easter Sunday for this race to happen. We are now getting going in Abu Dhabi. And Luke, this qualifying session could be one of the tightest, and I wouldn't be surprised actually if we see a majority of the guys on a set of mediums.
No, definitely. I think that could be the key thing to do with strategy. Starting outside the top 10 on the medium tyres, you can make the one-stops work. If you're in the top 10, if you get into the top 10 on a set of mediums, you might be able to squeeze it. If you get into the top 10 on a set of softs, you're probably going to have to go on the 2-stop. You'll have a lot of fun, though, doing the overtakes through the field. So this is going to be an interesting qualifying session, especially to see what the 2 championship contenders, what sort of strategies are they going to go for? Because they might be teammates, but Ferrari have won the Constructors now, so it's every man for himself.
Every man for himself, indeed. And Magnus, of course, as you say, 20 points ahead of Atlas Coppo coming into tonight. The two Ferraris are going to be going hammer and tongs out on track. Let's have a look then more detail at the track in question. It is the Yas Marina circuit in Yas Island in the United Arab Emirates. Not Yas Marina Bay, as I called it last night, and mistakenly Division 2. There's 3 compound tyres, the C5, C4 and C3 compound tyres. They are the soft, mediums and the hards. We've already spoken about the strategy briefly as well. 1 stop can possibly work. 2 stop could be the quicker strategy though for the guys out on track. 5.5 kilometres and then 3.4 miles, 28 laps and 18 minutes worth of qualifying awaiting these drivers ahead. We're about to get into the session. One thing that I can guarantee is it's going to be night time and it's going to be dry out on track, and that theme continues once again as we are waiting for the first cars to come out on track.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there's not exactly a rush of cars to get out on circuit. If you're going for the 2-stop strategy, as hopefully Free Pepper's able to get in pretty quickly once again, as he's having a few connection issues. It's a fairly long circuit as well, 55 lap race normally, so 28 for this, 5.554 kilometres, quite a technical circuit, not necessarily for the first 2 sectors, but that final sector has more corners in it than the first 2 sectors put together, and it's really tight through there, and it is definitely single file. The 2 DRS straights are where you're going to see the majority of the overtakes, unless there is some massive tyre differential.
Yeah, we've already seen a bit of a race coming out the pit lane, by the way, between Khan and Neymar. These are the first 2 men out on track. 1 minute through qualifying. You haven't missed anything if you are just tuning in at this point. But now the driver's out on track. It looks like Neymar's going to try and take a DRS. We'll try and commentate aboard with this outlap as Khan just pulls to the left-hand side, and now they back off each other, which is very good. And now we've got a bit of a revving out glitch, which is absolutely typical of Division 4. But there is Khan in 5th. Oh, currently showing as 5th, of course, on the graphics on the left-hand side. He's in the championship, actually. He's 3rd coming into tonight. That is a really good battle to talk about as well. Khan down to Jibby Storm, who I don't think is here. Storm as well involved in this. There's basically 20 odd points. I think it's something like 26, 27 points, covering 3rd down to 8th. Khan has got to be on the ball to try and defeat the guys that are chasing him down, the likes of Saigate and the likes of Ryan and Zam as well.
Yeah, they have indeed. I'm just trying to see if all of them are in. So we have got Khan and Saigate. Have we got Jam's not here? I don't believe. So that's a shame for him. But we haven't got Jib Storm, but we have got TTG Storm. So especially between Khan and Saigate, it's 4 points. So with the way things work at TTML, if you're finishing on the podium, that's it. If these 2 finish on the podium, whichever one finish highest is most likely, unless there's fastest lap and pole position points, going to be the one who takes that 3rd place in the championship and just gets that final step on the championship roster. And I'm sure they'll just be going for that little battle between themselves, as Khan is now on a hot lap.
He is indeed coming through turn 3, car killer corner, as we saw last night in Division 2. Through the first sector to 16.9 through the first sector. No TAS system here tonight, of course, in Division 4. There will be next week, I do believe, for the Division 4 versus Division 5 event. There will be graphics, I can promise you that. Myself and James Boyle taking you through the action. And now, Khan running down the straight. James Boyle and Conti, by the way, taking you through the action for Division 5 if you want to tune in for that. Khan on the run now then towards turn 8, and let's see how he brakes. Dead on the 100-metre ball, gets the car turned in, a bit of a lock-up going through turn 8. Doesn't want to be hanging like a cow like Hulkenberg in 2018, as now comes through turn 10, and now past the old F2 pit straight. Of course, this is where they used to start the races around here in Abu Dhabi. They do so for some of the GT3 racing, I do believe, as well. 57.1 though from Khan through the middle sector. These guys were saying they can do 32.8. I think it was in Time Trial or Grand Prix mode. That's really not retrospective, I think, of this track as he fights the car out of 14. There's the Marino on the right-hand side, as he now comes through the triple right-hander, as I like to call it, through 15, 16, and then through in towards turn 17. And now underneath the grandstand in towards turn 18, flicking now the car out through 18, through 19, and that normally is the natural racing line, but he's actually invalidated through there, through turn 19, catches him out, and he's straight into the pit there. I think Neymar's the man behind him, and he is coming through the final corner, complete a lap, 56.6 it was, through the middle sector, crosses the line, 133.3 to start off the night. That's a good lap, actually, by Neymar.
Yeah, it is indeed, especially if they've been doing some of these practice laps, for example, in time trial. That is generally a couple of tenths slower than it is in qualifying, even now that they have added equal performance cars to time trial, and even Grand Prix is as well. So that's a very good opening run from Neymar. You would expect, in a normal situation, the track does tend to get a bit better. It's maybe slightly different here at night time in Abu Dhabi, track temperatures can drop, which might help you because it means the tyres can last a bit longer. But if they get a bit too cold, can sometimes struggle to get them up to temperature. Magnus, though, straight to the top of the charts. 32.850. Have a piece of that, everyone else. Let's see what you can do.
I did say, honestly, he normally breaks about 5/10 away in qualifying, and he's already 5/10 ahead of Neymar. Neymar is probably thinking to himself, what have I got to do to try and beat this guy in qualifying? Magnus though out on top. Atlas Coppo is coming through turn 19 as well. Neymar second, Sultan third. Joro, I think, went up to fourth there as well. Frey Pepper, I could see flicking his mic in the top right-hand corner. We can't hear him. Luckily, Atlas Coppo comes across the line, and he comes across the line to go into 7th with a 134.4. Frey Pepper has left the session once again. Magnus though is out on top. Neymar second, Sultan third with 5 minutes gone in this qualifying session. TTG Storm in the meantime on a set of mediums coming through the final couple of corners, and we saw actually with LMN last night, he's at a 33 flat on a set of medium compounded tyres, so it can be done. He's at a 135.3, and I know Storm has been getting used to the PS5 controller. He's recently got a PS5 as well, so Storm will be hoping to try and get a good lap in. A 35.3 at the start of the night. Surely he will improve massively on that.
Yeah, he will. Thankfully, and this is a bit of a humble, well, it's not even that humble brag if I'm being honest, I've managed to secure a PS5, and there's a definite difference with the controller. Now, on the PS5 games, it feels really different. On the PS4 games, the main difference is, it feels like the vibration is a lot more powerful, and after a few laps, you start getting the tingly sensation in your hands, so that might be something to watch out for. See how Storm does. Frey Pepper, thankfully, is able to get back in, but Storm, probably not too bad to say he's on a set of mediums. We'll see how everyone else can do, and whether anyone else that hasn't gone on a lap tries the mediums.
Barcelona, I think, had a mistake coming out through turn 13. I think he was on a lap at 133.3 for the Swede in 6th. Kahneman right on board with on an out lap. He's going to be one of the first to come around, and in fact it's Mitchell, our newcomer here in Division 4. He is coming across the line to start off on a lap. I believe he's a reserve here in Division 4 if I'm not mistaken. Frey Pepper has joined the session as well, just flicking the timing screens to the left hand side. I hope that is not going to be a consistent feature throughout tonight. Mitchell now coming through turn number 3. And now through the first sector, 16.9 through the first sector, as those graphics are really getting on my nerves on the left-hand side, as Mitchell now comes through in towards turn 6, through the hairpin, takes the wide out line, gets the traction on the exit, and looks quite good through there. So now Mitchell runs down this first DRS straight. Of course, there's 2 DRS straight on this track, one down in towards turn 8, one down in towards turn 11, and that's where both of the overtakings are really going to happen out on track. Frey Pepper again leaving the session. Maybe don't worth joining. He's already joined twice, and I know there's only a certain amount of times that you can join within qualifying to get yourself a spot in the race. Mitchell then coming through in towards this middle sector split. It's going to be there or thereabouts in the likes of Exy and Barcelona's lap time, I think. 57.5 through the middle sector, and in fact he won't be because it's a true commentator's curse. Probably the first time I've done it this week, and he is invalidated coming through turn 11 and 12.
Yeah, it's a very tricky track, but it's not something we spoke about too much in this session. Track limits are quite tight around here. To get the entire race without penalties is going to be a big challenge for a lot of these drivers, so it could definitely cost them in qualifying, especially if they have to leave it until the end of the session to try and set a time. They're going to want to be a bit more careful and maybe have to leave something in hand, perhaps. Khan, he's invalidated his lap as well. We'll see what Ryan can do. I'm just on board with him now. He's coming around the final sector at the moment. Obviously, one of only 2 drivers to win multiple races this season, so he's definitely got some good form and can still claim that 3rd place in the championship.
Yeah, and fun fact actually, XL Ryan in Division 2 also picked up multiple wins, so he's not the only Ryan that has picked up multiple wins in the division this season in TTML. Ryan through the final corner. I think he'll go ahead of Exy possibly with this lap. Comes across the line, and it's a 134.6. A little bit disappointing from Ryan's perspective, a 134.6. He goes into 8th position behind Atlas Coppo out on track. Mitchell, I think, is trying again. He's invalidated once again through the first sector. So 16.9 through the first sector out on track, as I'm just trying to see who might be furthest on coming across the line. I think Luke Ajax has just started up coming through turn 1.
There he has indeed. Let's see what he can do coming through turn 1. Only a 137.914, so maybe a second out lap that he's gone for. That is not the best place to come out of the pit lane, unfortunately, for JR though. So thankfully he was well out of the way, slightly down in the first sector, but let's see what he can do. Oh, that is very awkward indeed. I'm not quite sure what the Alfa Romeo driver was doing there, but I think it definitely put Luke Ajax off.
Yeah, my camera angle didn't actually pick that up, so I'm not sure if he got in the way. It must have been through turn 6. Did he cut the chicane, Joro, I'm assuming?
He did, yes, and obviously by the time he's come out of the chicane, Luke is trying to sling his car over to the right-hand side, and I think it just distracted him slightly, and maybe he went a bit too far right than he ideally would have done. So I don't think I'll be too impressed with that from the Alfa Romeo driver, who had got well out of the way coming out of the pit, so I'm not sure why he felt the need to then cut the chicane, because that was inevitably you were going to end up back in the way.
Yeah, Stuart, I'm thinking we'll probably look at that. I know it's the final race of the season, but we don't hold back. 56.4 from Exy in the middle sector. There go the graphics on the left-hand side again. They're really doing my head in terms of the flashing out on track. But Exy on track, he was purple through the middle sector, so this is going to be quite an intriguing lap, I think, from the Norwegian. We've got Magnus on the lap as well. Neymar, I know, invalidated through the first sector. Luke Ix gets out of the way to the left-hand side. Now through 18 comes Exy. Now through 19, of course, he represents OWR. Trey Pepper again leaving the session out on track. That might be his final attempt to rejoin as Exy now comes through the final couple of corners. Going to be a really good lap. He's going to go ahead of Joro, I think, possibly with this lap from X. He comes across the line, and in fact he goes second with a good lap there, 133.3. What's Magnus doing through the first sector? But he's 200 up. Salt is coming through the middle, the final sector even as well, through 18, through 19, but it looks like he's actually backed off, and actually he's got damage on the right side end plate.
Yeah, I went on board with him just coming out of, I think it was coming out of turn 17. He had quite a lot of debris in the middle of the track and wasn't quite facing the right direction, so I think that's where he's ended up making a mistake for him. Joro on a hot lap at the moment. Magnus just coming through sector 2 though. We'll see what he can do as he heads across that sector 2 split line, and he's currently 1.5 tenths down on his personal best, which even if he kept that 1.5 tenths down, it'd still be 3 tenths faster than what anyone else has done in this session, so he is looking very consistent.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was so quick coming through 11, 12, 13 and 14 then. Now through in towards 17, the corner that can catch you at the most, really. Out on track now through 18 and then through 19. Magnus is throwing everything in this final sector. Is he going to try and make up a 10th.5 in this final sector to try and go more into pole position? No, he won't. He invalidates, and he's now back into the pit lane. And just like that, what could have been a really good lap from Magnus, actually, in terms of consistency, puts him back into the pit lane. Frey Pepper is not there out on track. Storm, though, is 3 tenths up coming into the pit lane. Very strange.
Yeah, so he's clearly thinks that he's got a better chance, or maybe wanting to start on that set of medium tyres and deciding not to go out, as Maximus is now having problems leaving the session. Joro comes into the pits as well. Didn't look too bad a lap from him. Let's see what the other title contenders can do. Alta Scopro just cutting too much at turn 20 there. That will easily invalidate your lap. Sidegate coming around the final corner now. He is actually going to make it around the final corner, heads towards the finish line and gets himself up into 6th place. We've got McLaren, Alpha Tauri on the 2nd and 3rd row of the grid at the moment. Yeah,
Neymar's improving through the final corner as well, comes across the line and he retakes second with a good lap of 133.3, found 700ths of a second in that final sector on Exy's lap time. So Magnus out on top from Neymar on second, Exy third, Salt in fourth. Khan, I believe, is out on lap, and he now makes his way into the pit lane, of course, joining the TRT team just a couple of weeks ago. And TRT, of course, a little bit inconsistent in terms of their driving standards last week. I shall not name who, but he's been warned from me, definitely, about his driving standards. Barcelona is off through the final sector. He was 2.5 seconds down, so I think he might have invalidated out on his lap. I don't think there's actually anyone out there on a proper lap, apart from Luke Ix, who's coming through the final corner, along with Mitchell through the final corner as well.
Yeah, Mitchell just starting a flying lap. You had invalidated his out lap, but as long as you don't do that in the final couple of corners, you should be fine. So let's see what Mitchell can do. Very close there to the track limits coming through turn 1. And it's 2 and 3. Turn 3, not tricky on qualifying fuel. Not tricky when you've got fresh tyres. Very tricky once you've got a bit more fuel in the car and the tyres are beginning to wear out. It can cause some big problems. Now into that chicane at turns 5 and 6. You do occasionally see the odd overtake into there, but it does rely on having some big tyre differential. That is a long DRS straight. Now, interestingly, 2 straights after each other, both with DRS zones. At Australia and Canada, that's only 1 detection point. Here at Abu Dhabi, it's 2 detection points. If you get overtaken into turn 8, you can easily fight back into turn 10, into turn 11. I should say 11, 12 and 13. So maybe if you are under a bit of pressure on the way down that first DRS straight, don't defend too strongly.
Yeah, don't defend too strongly. We saw a lot of battles, as Mitchell said, at 57.2 to the middle sector, which is a very good middle sector. Oh, Literally, as I say that, he invalidates coming through turn 12 and knocks the ball on in frustration, I imagine, there. Luke Ix is also on a lap. He's coming through the middle sector split. I didn't catch his middle sector split there, but now coming through turn 13 and then in toward 14, the Marina now on the right-hand side of the driver is now coming through the triple right-hander of 15, 16 and 17 out on track. 3.5 minutes to go. If you're just tuning in now, myself and Luke Etheridge taking you through the action, of course. Yes, this is not Division 1, I know. Luke Ix is invalidated coming out through turn 18. It's Magnus out on top, Neymar on second, Exy in third. Maximus has finally joined the session and has been able to join onto track, which I'm glad to see. He should be coming out of the pit lane very soon indeed. Salt is on a good lap time through the first sector. He's a 10.5 down through the first sector.
Yeah, most of that I think was through turn 3. It didn't look like the car was very planted, so whether he's running a bit less rear downforce there, which would affect him through the high corners, might help him a bit on the straights, but normally with the way he sets up style on the F1 game, you chuck on as much rear downforce as possible to keep that car planted as well on traction. Nice and steady through 8 and 9. You can sometimes see cars run wide at turn 9, just get stuck on the curb, and if you start drifting over on traction as well and losing it under wheel spin, you head off towards the wall on the right hand side, and I have seen a couple of cars end up retiring there. He's still a 10.5 down, but this final sector is where you can gain a lot of time, especially when the track starts rubbering in. Kept it clean for 11, 12 and 13, runs a bit wide though at turn 14, so he's not going to have the best run through this triple right-hander. 15, 16, braking just after you finish turning round turn 16 into 17, then turn 18, another like 90-degree left-hander, and turn 19, quite tricky as well. Get as close to the wall as you dare, but obviously not too close. Turn 20, we've seen a few drivers fall foul of track limits. Salt keeping it very safe there. Round the final corner. Is this going to be enough to gain him an extra position? He nearly made all his time back, but still 4 thousandths off his PB. Stays in 4th.
Yeah, he does stay in 4th out on track. Corner's on the left time. I think Exy's out on the left time as well. Coming through the final sector. Neymar's on the net lap just ahead of him, I believe. So Exy now coming through turn 19. Let's see what the Norwegian can do. For OWR, Magnus out on top, Neymar second, Exy in third. To be honest, you would imagine that's that top 3. Frey Pepper's joining actually Exy into the pit lane, feeling he's not going to improve on his lap, and he's not going to improve in this qualifying session anymore. He is now down and out of it. Barcelona's just started the lap. We're right on board then with Khan coming through the final sector, through turn 19 and then through turns 20 and 21. The McLaren getting out of the way to the left hand side is Barcelona as he now comes through, sorry, Neymar in fact. Car now coming through the final corner. He will get a left arm on the ball, comes across the line, and he goes 8th with a 134.2. Not a bad lap there at all. Maximus is now coming through the final corner to start on his lap, and he's going to be one of the guys to watch as actually he nearly catches a spin coming out through the final couple of corners. Neymar is also on a lap coming through turn 3 as well.
Yeah, Neymar coming through turn 3. He might get a bit of a distant tow here, actually, from Khan, which will be a great help. And he's gone purple in the first sector. Only 300ths of a second ahead of Magnus. I think it is really that final sector, the longest one on the lap, where you do gain most of the time. Frey Pepper, if you're listening, mate, reset your router as quickly as possible, because something is not going right with your internet connection at this moment. Khan getting well out of the way there, not wanting to get distracted, get caught up in this battle at the moment, and Khan, Sygate and Ryan are going to all be in a line at the moment, so it could be very close for that 3rd place battle in the championship on what is quite a short run down towards the first corner, one of the shortest on the calendar. But let's see what Neymar can carry on doing as he heads towards the 2nd sector point. He's lost 1.5 tenths, so he's going to have to go some to beat Magnus's time here as the checkered flag is out.
That's him done. I think Neymar's actually backed off this lap, so what could have been an excellent lap has proven to be a bit of a cracked egg, to be honest. Sorry. Magnus out on top. Neymar second, Exy in third. You know me by now. I like to try and put in a few puns, but they were just terrible, I know. As Salt, in fact, goes 4th. Sorry, Barcelona, I think, went 5th. Ryan up to 6th as well. So Barcelona went 5th, Ryan in 6th. Was Ryan on board then with Maximus, in fact. No, not Maximus. Magnus out on track. Goodness me, my brain's not working. He's purple through the middle sector. So Magnus now 400s up. Really got to attack through 12, 13. Not as quick as last time. As now comes through 14. And now on the run in towards the triple right-hander, 15, 16 and 17. Joe, I think, is into the pit lane as well. He's done with. There's been a collision through the middle sector, I think, as well, between an Alfa Romeo and a Racing Point. Certainly one of them going sore, one of them holding up the other. And that might have been Mitchell, actually, and Luke Ix on a lap as well. But now Magnus coming through the final couple of corners, the king of qualifying here in TTML Division 4, comes around the final corner, 132.8 to beat. What's the time? 1:32.853. He's only 3,000 of a second off his lap time. Magnus is then out on top. What's Atlas Copel doing out on track as he now comes through the final corner? He's got to respond big time on this lap. Atlas Copel to try and keep his championship hopes alive. Comes across the line and he goes 9th. For the 1:32.238, Storm is into pick in after invalidating. That is the end of qualifying, and Magnus is out on top by just a comfy 5/10 of a second. Neymar in second and Exy in third.
Yeah, I think if I was Atlas Copel, I'd have been hoping someone behind me had improved and knocked me down into that 11th position to get that alternate strategy and have this fresh choice of tyres. Maximus looked as though he might be able to do that, just got it wrong coming through the final corner. Luckily for him, he was able to set a lap, so at least he goes ahead of Mitchell. Frey Pepper said he's given up, but what a time that was by Magnus. Could he get that third win of the season, which would easily, obviously, secure the championship? But that's an extra 2 points, so he's now 22 points ahead. Atlas Copel, therefore, needs to beat him by 23 points in this, so needs at least second position all of a sudden. That's going to be very tough, starting in 9th.
He does. Mitchell, by the way, picked up a 5-place grid penalty, so he's starting right at the back of the field. It's Magnus then out on top by 4.5 per second from Neymar in second, Exy in third. The top 5 covered by 5/10 of a second, but Magnus's time to Neymar, of course, is more than 4.5. Salt in fourth with Barcelona in 5th. What is it with these Scandinavians filling out the top 5? Ryan in 6th with Sygate in 7th, Joe in 8th, Atlas Copel in 9th, and Khan running off the top 10. Storm in 11th, Ike's not a competitive lap time in either. Maximus didn't set a lap time. Mitchell didn't get one in. He's got 5-place grid penalty, as well as Frey Pepper's AI, who didn't get a lap time in either. And hopefully, we are going to be seeing some great racing out on track. Of course, Division 5 is live as well. This is normally the point where, of course, the share play stops on my end, and we cut straight in. But we are getting straight in this time around, and once again, it is dry in qualifying. Dry in qualifying, of course, dry in the race as well, and it's going to be fascinating to see how this race is going to unfold. It's Magnus versus Atlas Copel into tonight. The two Ferraris about to do battle. We've got a perfect view of their pit garage as well. Both looking, or one of them looking, certainly to go on a set of medium compounded tyres. I think they both qualified in the top 10 though, if I'm not mistaken. But the battle's surely on. Magnus in the hot seat. Atlas Copel, though, is the consistent one in the race. Can he try and fight back over Magnus?
I don't think he's got the pace, if I'm being perfectly honest. That was a huge gap in qualifying. 1.5 seconds, I think it was, roughly, between Magnus and Atlas Copel. He's just going to hope that Magnus picks up a few penalties, which it didn't look like he was doing in qualifying, and that Atlas, if he keeps it clean and there's a late safety car, he might have a bit of a chance. But let's not forget, he's now got to get up to second place, and that's if Magnus doesn't finish. I think if Magnus finishes, even if he finishes way down in 15th position in this race, as long as he crosses the line, I think all of a sudden Atlas is going to have to end up winning the race. So it's going to be an extremely tough task for him to take this championship from this position. I'm sure he'll give it his all. He's just going to hope he can get cleanly at least through the first lap and then start to build up and see what he can do. Maybe go for a bit of an early pit stop if he feels like he's being stuck in traffic.
Yeah, Magnus then out on top. We are already a quarter of the way through this formation lap, and Magnus is there. Car number 13 is the car he runs here in Division 4. Will it be unlucky for him out on track, or will it be lucky for him? And I'm hoping it is the latter rather than the former, because he's just been an absolute insane candidate for champion here in TTML Division 4. It's been fantastic to see development, but Neymar there in second, arguably the most improved driver on the field. Neymar, if he gets a good start and he conserves that ERS like he has been doing the last 2 weeks, he could give Magnus a real trouble, I think, off the start.
Yeah, as we said earlier, it's not a long run down towards turn 1. It is a fairly short run, but if you can, obviously you're on the inside line, and then if you can hold it off all the way on the outside of turns 2, 3 and 4 as well, you've also got the inside line for 5 and 6, and you will have a chance. If he doesn't get it, if he just gets a good exit coming out of that hairpin at turn 7, even without the DRS, he might be able to give it a bit of a go. So it's definitely not all plain sailing at the moment for Magnus, and if he gets a bad start and finds himself getting put offline ever so slightly, he can easily shuffle yourself off the order here. Interestingly, as we expected, no one outside the top 10 has gone for the medium tyres. Maximus has gone for the hards. I think I'd rather drive on my road tyres. I think I'd rather drive on intermediates around here than I would the hard tyres. They are not a fantastic race tyre whatsoever.
They aren't. It's a bit like Silverstone, of course, where you try to avoid the hard compounded tyres. It's exactly the same here in Abu Dhabi. Mark saying, by the way, go to comms here tonight. I know. Yeah, we've got our division. The old Division 1 is back once again here in Division 4. And Ryan saying he's expecting a masterclass from one of the medium runners as well. Quickly before we begin, Luke, who's your top 3?
I think we can't look past Magnus getting that victory. I'm going to go Magnus, Magnus, Ryan, and Storm.
Interesting, very interesting. Not a total correlation between 1st, 6th and 11th there either. Magnus then is out on top. We hope that we are going to be starting. I have a bit of sense of deja vu here, to be honest. It doesn't look like we're going to get the go-ahead, which is an absolute shame. I think it's because Maximus and Frey Pepper's probably glitched the lobby. That's why you saw to the left-hand side, all the graphics glitching in qualifying. But let's have a look then at the run, what Magnus will have. Running down in towards Somon. Neymar's in behind him out on track. There's Exy in 3rd. Just trying to actually flick through. Who might be causing the issues out on track? It might be Maximus, actually, who's on a 1 bar. Frey Pepper is in AI mode. There he is in AI mode there. Mitchell in behind as well. One of these guys is causing a little bit of a problem. So I think we are going to get a lobby restart, if I'm not mistaken. I think Atlas Copa will probably confirm that very soon indeed in the Discord. If that is going to happen, it has to happen, I think, for the fairness of the racing. And Frey Pepper has said, sorry guys if I've glitched the lobby. So
well, I was on board with all the cars, and his is the only one in reverse at the moment. So maybe that's, I don't know whether that means anything, but we'll have to see. But I think we are getting a new lobby. And imagine, that's good news if you're in the top 10 though. You've got a fresh set of soft tyres all of a sudden.
You have got a fresh set of soft compounded tyres, of course. What I will do, once this lobby restart happens, just waiting on Atlas Copa to come through, because of course he is the lobby host here tonight. Hopefully we'll be getting a restart. If not, you'll be seeing a blue screen, and you'll be seeing us restarting the stream for the race, and when we get into the lobby, of course. Atlas Copa is typing now, I can see in the Discord, and we should have a lobby restart. Joe was saying it's bugged. It's a Ferrari, you always need to wait, and Atlas saying lobby restart. So I will then leave the session, so I don't have to reset up my game at all, and we will get, of course, that lobby glitch. You watch, the race will probably start now that I've left.
Yeah, I mean, I could commentate on whatever I wanted now that you've left, let's be perfectly honest, but yeah, well, we'll have to see what's happening. It doesn't look like we are getting anywhere, so I think it is probably best if everyone just ends up leaving the lobby. As we said, that's now kind of annoyed if you're in Storm's position in 11th place on a set of medium tyres, I'd say feeling fairly good about the way things are going at the moment. You'd have to be feeling like you've got a decent opportunity, but no, there's cars still jumping about all over the place. Hopefully this will be a thing of the past, as yeah, there goes the game crash, and it's a good job you left the session, because I was being stubborn. I knew what was going to happen, but yeah.
Yeah, Atlas Copa is going to make a new lobby. We are delayed then on the race start. But remember, if you are now viewing the stream, if you are a driver in the top 10, you have to start on a set of soft compounded tyres. If you start on a set of compound tyres that's different to a set of softs that you qualified on, I believe you will get disqualified from the race for starting on that wrong compound of tyres. So be careful what you wish for. If you were to try and do that, don't. You don't want to end yourself up in more trouble. Frey Pepper is asking if he can try and join. It did bug the lobby. I would be of the opinion where Frey Pepper has tried too many times, I think, to join the lobby, and he's got a little bit of a bug about him in terms of him joining. Joel saying it's now started, apparently, considering now people have left the session. But we are getting a lobby restart, and hopefully that'll be set up within the next few minutes. I would just say, go make a cup of tea. We'll probably be back in about 5 minutes in terms of the racing action out on track. But let's have a look at what Division 5 is up to. Division 5 doesn't have a lobby restart, and Rock City leads by 1.2 seconds over Invictus in 2nd, and Lime is in 3rd with Maze 4th, Shumi 5th, Geese in 6th with Passel 7th, Sardas 8th, Mack in 9th, Schmitsky 10th, Bernard in 11th, and Robin, the champion, of course, in Division 5. He's down at the back of the field, only picking up early damage, I believe.
Yeah, it's not ideal picking up early damage, because I said you might want to avoid the hard tyres, so any driver.
Oh God.
As I said earlier, they're not the greatest of tyres, what I've seen drivers before go for the hard tyres in Abu Dhabi. Someone else has gone soft, and has just made up that 20+ second pit lane gap because they are so terrible around that circuit.
Yeah, the undercut around here as well is really, really potent. I've given you an invite to the lobby, by the way. We have got a new one set up. We are in this lobby. And now, unfortunately, what Atlas Coppo's going to do, he's going to set it to custom grid, which means he's going to have to trail through the stream and look at the qualifying results. I know for a fact that Mitchell is down at the back of the field in 15th. Magnus, of course, out on top, Neymar second, and Exy in third, as he nearly put it on random starting grid, which would have been quite entertaining to watch, to be honest. But custom grid it is, and a 50% race it is as well. So I'm assuming that will take about 5 minutes to set up, and Atlas Coppo will be as quick as possible, I'm sure. Fry Pepper, by the way, has joined the session. Maximus has also joined the session as well, which is good to see. So Fry Pepper might be up a driver in terms of him. So, we're going to see, actually, side by side between Geese and Shumi, as Geese gets through on a set of soft component eyes on Shumi, and he's up into 5th position, and Victor's right on the back of Limit as well, who's got 2nd.
Yes, things definitely going well in Q5. Imagine if F1 had 5 qualified in Division 5, I should say. So yeah, the top 10, as mentioned, will have to all start on a set on the soft tyres. If you are outside the top 10, you can stick or twist. It's basically up to you. Just waiting for the final few drivers to join before they end up setting the grid. And now it always feels a bit awkward as a driver when this happens. You've got ready, you've got your strategy ready. Or drivers as well also have to remember, put your setups back on for the race. I've seen that happen before, where drivers have just rushed and pressed OK, and then everyone's quickly panicking, trying to get a setup ready, and trying to pick the right strategy.
Yeah, Sargate and Mersault, by the way, need invites to the lobby. If Atlas Coppo is listening, he's probably too busy to try and set that. I'm sure Michael, commentator here, will probably give out the invites to them too, if you don't mind, of course, Luke.
I mean, I was giving Frey Pepper about 20 invites earlier on, so yeah, I'm well versed in it now.
You're well versed in it, yeah. Sargate, Mersault, and Mitchell also need invites into the lobby, and actually we'll be up to 16 drivers, which would be really good to see, of course. Everyone is quite impatient, I think, within the lobby, and we are going to be getting going. I'm very, very certain we'll get going first time next time around as we get in, as Mersault has just joined, Mitchell has just joined as well, and I'm assuming that Sargate will join as well in due course. Any thoughts within the comments section on anything to do with F1 would be absolutely brilliant. We've run out of stuff to talk to, I think, in the commentary box. But, of course, Magnus has now got 22-point advantage over Atlas Coppo. Atlas Coppo, what does he have to do, ideally, to try and outscore Magnus? He's got to, like, win the race and basically hope that Magnus is, like, 13th to finish in 13th without the fastest lap for him to win the title.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough... He's got to hope something happens to his teammate, an accident or whatever, for things to happen. That is the only thing that he can hope to happen at this occasion, because otherwise he's going to be in big trouble. If his teammate finishes, he basically needs to win the race, which is going to be an extremely tough task from 9th place on the grid, made slightly easier by the fact he'll have fresh tyres and doesn't have to worry about everyone behind him on the alternate strategy. But the bad news is, the 8 cars in front of him are going to have some fresh tyres as well, so the one stop might now be a more feasible strategy for those inside the top 10. We said earlier on it's going to be very difficult to do starting on an older set of soft tyres. Now you've got a brand new fresh set, so if you keep it nice and steady, you might be able to go a bit longer. Maybe that's the trick for Atlas Coppo. Just try something different on the strategy to try and force a move from your rival.
Yeah, and he's just actually told us, we're ready to go. He's actually done the grid already, which in quick record fashion, I've got to be honest. Well done to Atlas Coppo. Tekken is actually joining very late as well, so hopefully he might be able to participate within the race. I'm not sure if he will be able to, because these guys are looking like they're raring to go. So Tekken, if you do want to join, I would get in there quick, my son, because I don't think we're going to be waiting around much longer. In fact, the 30-second countdown has just now started. Somebody is flicking now, so we get 10 drivers ready up, and now we've got the 30-second countdown well and truly on in what is going to be the final race of the season here in TTML Division 4. Tekken, unfortunately, you're too late. You had your chance, you're too late to join, and we're now getting in to the race. 50% worth 28 laps waiting out on track, and Atlas Copo saying as well, no joining after qualifying, because that is a rule within the league, and if you join after qualifying, then, of course, you will probably get a penalty from the stewards.
I've never had a penalty. I think you'll probably end up getting disqualified in the end. If the rule for what? If you stop everyone else joining after qualifying, it's only fair that if someone ignores that and joins after qualifying, you've probably got to get rid of them, unfortunately. So it's a shame for Tekken. He would have been starting, obviously, from the back of the grid. But yeah, this is going to be quite interesting to see now, I think. We've had an extra 10-15 minute wait to what we normally would have had, just to build the tension up ever so slightly. It's not like real Formula 1, where we're not going to knock a lap off the race, which I'm sure Max Verstappen is absolutely cursing that rule after the Bahrain Grand Prix. That rule probably ended up costing him a victory in the end, and it looks like Frey Pepper, at least when we were in the lobby, was able to stay in the lobby. Whether that's the same case now as we head onto track, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting race, I feel, for some of these drivers. Those that are battling for something, like the top two, like the two Ferraris, like, for example, Khan and some of the others in that battle, Ryan, they've got things to fight for. If you've not got something to fight for, you can just go and have some fun, and sometimes that gives us the best races towards the end of the season when the drivers are a bit more relaxed.
Well, if it's anything like Division 2, I called it an instant classic out on track last night in Division 2, and it was, because even though it was quite aggressive in terms of the driving standards on look back, it was just insane to see really good racing out on track. And I mean, me and Dan have had two commentaries, both Wednesday and Thursday, where we've really gelled as a commentary team, and Division 2 capped that off last night. We are now about to get going here in Division 4. 15 drivers are waiting then out on track, and we are now back underway. I can report that everyone is on the right compound tyre, and there's no changes to the strategy, of course, from 11th down to 15th. I would imagine that Maximus is going to try and do a one-stop on that set of hard compounded tyres, but it could be the case where actually Maximus's tyres is colder than the rest around him. He drops to the back of the field and he loses DRS quite early on in the race.
Yeah, and if that happens, that is really going to cost you around here. Storm will be hoping that he can keep up with some of those ahead of him. That task might be a bit tougher than it would have been if they'd have been on the older tyres. But yeah, Maximus, I think he's got to hope for that a late safety car round about lap 18. Lap 19, when some of the others have pitted. I think the bad news for him could have been some of those near the front of the field might have made might have made the first stop by then, maybe their second, and if they've only made the first stop, they might have even caught him back up once again. It would not surprise me if we say Magnus goes soft for his first two stints. I'd expect him to catch up Maximus before we get to about lap 17 or lap 18, with the pace difference, and then definitely with the tyre delta that he's having. We're talking, those soft tyres are probably around 2 seconds a lap faster than the hards around here. So after 10 laps, that's probably the pit stop.
Yeah, Frey Pepper apparently has been kicked out of the session, which is not that great. He's been kicked out and he's not going to rejoin. He won't rejoin. There won't be a restart, I don't think, out on track. However, it might cause another lobby glitch, and please, we do not want another lobby glitch out on track, because that one in qualifying was supposed to have been fixed. It clearly isn't. The game is clearly not F1 Esports ready, as it makes out to be, or EA and Codemasters or whoever designs this crappy game sometimes. Whoever designs this game needs to really take a look at themselves, F1 2021, I've got to be honest. But enough of my rant at the current state of the game. We're now round into the final couple of corners. Are you sticking by your top three, Luke?
No, I'm now going to go Magnus, Ryan and Neymar, just because I think the power of the alternate strategy has been rather nerfed ever so slightly. People who are going to struggle, I believe a few of these drivers actually forgot to put their strategies on. So Salt says he's forgot to put a setup on. He's going to have a very tough 28 laps, I feel.
Yeah, very, very tough indeed, and we are hoping to get underway. Second time around, let's hope it is a go. And we've got one stage further. Hopefully now the lights come on, and the lights are coming on here in Division 4 for the final round of the season here in Division 4, and it's lights down and away we go. And Frey Pepper already glitches the start, so does Mitchell, but I tell you what, Magnus has got a really good start, running down in towards someone's already got the move done. Exy goes around the outside of Mersault. Mersault tried to have a good run through turn 1, but he's now back down to 4th. Ryan is under pressure pressure as well from Barcelona. Barcelona, oh, down the inside, nearly makes contact. Joel was right on the back of this as well. Mitchell and Frey Pepper, of course, at the top of the standings. Frey Pepper's AI has actually jumped into 15th position down in the back of the field, but a bit of a Constantine effect in behind as Mitchell gets caught up quite close into the back of a driver, but Magnus leads the way by 1.3 seconds out on track. Nemo on second, Exy third, Ryan in fourth, Mersault in fifth. Mersault on an absolute disaster of a start. Has he got right side end plate damage actually running down the straight? I'm not sure if there's slight damage on that car as Exy now pulls to the inside line on Neymar running down in towards turn 8. Can he try and get the move done? No, he can't. And in behind he actually gets a switch back and Exy's going to get the run out. Magnus is about 2 seconds clear at this stage. He's absolutely flown away from the field. He's 2 seconds clear. Exy and Neymar now side by side, but it is Exy who's going to get P2 running down in towards P11, turn 11 I should say. Sidegate and Mersault. Oh, there's a right dive from Sidegate and he contacts Ryan who's got left side end plate damage and there's all sorts of carnage. And this is really not Division 4 how we like to see it.
I'm not, like, did Sidegate, as a mechanic, left a spanner under the brake pedal or something? Because I'm not quite sure what he was trying there into turn 11. He'd had a slight tap on the back of Ryan on the run down into turn 8, to be perfectly honest, and Mersault was able to hold him off around the outside. And I think he was just, I don't know if he was too focused in on where his teammate was, and when he suddenly pulled the camera forwards, he realised he was about 40 metres away from the corner.
Oh, for Con on an illegal overtake, I think, and in fact both racing points nearly fired side by side. Luke Ix is now going side by side with Mitchell. Goodness me, I don't know where to keep up with this action. Mitchell now ahead, but I think he's got an illegal overtake now. As one to lap 2, Ryan's going around the outside of him, but in front, Magnus must have about a 2.5 second lead over Exy at this stage. Neymar in third, and Neymar's dropped well off the back of Exy, coming through then the first lap. Goodness me, what a start. Breathless action. Magnus then leads, Exy in second, Neymar in third, Mersault, Khan and Joro all into the pit lane, running further down the field, but just trying to see if there's any sort of manoeuvres happening down the field. I think Maximus is on the back of Luke Ix, and on the centre hard coming of tyres, he's already up pretty much into 6th, 7th position. Out on tracks, he looks to the inside line. Luke Ix has got damage on that left side end plate. Atlas Coppo not too far off the pace either, but Maximus on the back of Luke Ix, he's going to get the move done. Mitchell in 6th, Luke Ix 7th, Maximus in 8th. Everyone has now fixed themselves correct in the positions, and Magnus has got a 2.3 second lead. Is crucial for him as now Atlas Coppo is going to attack on the back of Maximus, and he should sail around the outside here. Maximus will not lie down, but Atlas Coppo soon is into 8th. Sidegate and Storm having a battle for 10th and 11th as well, but Magnus out in front is imperious.
This is like Sebastian Vettel at his best in the Red Bull days. He'd always start the race fantastically, pull off about a couple of seconds a lap at the start of the race, so he was already outside of DRS range and he could just control the race from that position. But this is ridiculous from Magnus. 3.1 seconds at the end of lap 2 of this race. No one's able to get close. Barcelona's now got a track limits penalty, so he needs to keep it careful. Ajax is going to be heading into the pit. Sidegate sending one down the inside of Maximus at the final corner. He is on a mission tonight, and Storm says thank you very much, I'll take that position. But Mitchell probably not looking too bad at the moment. Let's not forget he had that grid penalty earlier on, so he's gained 9 places.
He has gained 9 places out on track, and he's up into 6th. It's his debut, of course, here in Division 4 tonight. Khan has picked up a 3-second time while he's coming through in towards turn 20 there, but Mitchell leads then as Mersault has retired in the pit lane out of frustration. I'm assuming he's been caught up in 2 incidents in the space of this, as many laps really out on track. Storm now on the back of Sidegate, the 2 sister cars, the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull, about to go side by side. I think Storm is going to absolutely lap this up. He's going to the outside line. Sidegate defends, but he's not going to defend hard enough. Maximus is going to have a run as well at Sidegate, I think, down towards turn 8. Sidegate then very, very late on the brakes. Maximus, he's not going to do him around the outside here, as Sidegate actually just hangs on for P9, gets caught a little bit scribbly. Ryan right on the back of Neymar as well, running down in towards turn number 11, but Sidegate then in 9th, Maximus in 10th. That is the Mersault AI car that's giving a yellow flag in Sector 1 and through Sector 2. That will remove itself, I'm sure. It has just done. Magnus then leading 3.3 seconds, absolute imperious out in front. Exy in second, Neymar in third. But I would say with Magnus, he's gone hard early. 3.6 seconds, 3.7 seconds is the gap. Exy will begin to close them in, and if Magnus has got to be very careful in terms of tyres, because he keeps on locking up in towards corners, so he needs to stop doing that if he's got to try and chance to try and get a one-stop onto a set of mediums.
I don't think he's got a chance at all if he's bolted off that quickly at this moment in time. I think he is going to struggle, and there's been that much battling going on behind with the soft runners that it might be awkward for them. Exy at least is in plenty of free air, as is Neymar, and I am shocked at just how big the gaps are. At the moment, we're talking 10 seconds from first to fourth at this moment in time all of a sudden, on lap 3 of the race. It is absolutely huge at the moment, and Mitchell there just picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's not within DRS range, and that's not helping him out at this moment in time, because those on the softs are probably still just slightly quicker for the next couple of laps before the mediums start coming into their own. So this is going to be very tricky, I think, for anyone to maybe stop Magnus, but Ryan, he's looking very quick on the back of Neymar, and he's just going to have a slightly cleaner exit, I feel, coming out of turn 9 and coming through turn 10. This could be the Haas driver's chance.
We got access round coming through turn 3, but here is Ryan on the outside line. Neymar on the inside line. Masol saying, by the way, in the comment section that he forgot his setup, and Ryan just about cuts in front of Neymar. Neymar giving the respect due. The respect as well. The Brit and the Dane having a battle, and Ryan is doing his into P3, so that's what we like to see. He's actually got a little bit of end plate damage, I think, on that car as well, if I'm not mistaken. Looking through, he has got left side end plate damage on that car as well, so even more impressive from Ryan to get the move done. Neymar in 4th. He might be struggling with a little bit of damage possibly as well. Barcelona and Mitchell coming into contention, but Magnus, the horse has bolted out of the stables at this point. Lap 5 out of 28, and Magnus leads by 4.7 seconds out on track. And currently, as it stands, Magnus will wrap up the championship, and that could be even more crucial. Atlas Coppo has just picked up a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, Magnus, you could say his horse is prancing its way to victory in this championship at the moment. 4.6 seconds ahead of exit. Atlas Coppo dropping off the back of some of these ahead of him with a 3-second time penalty. He's going to find it quite hard, but we've seen quite a adventurous start, shall we say, to this race. There's been a few incidents. Who's to say there won't be another one? Who's to say there won't be a safety car, which will really stir things up if Magnus maybe pits a lap earlier than everyone else? So that may be a tactic from Magnus. Just wait and see what your rivals do and go a bit longer, and then hopefully you've got a far enough lead that you don't have to worry about the undercut from anyone at this moment in time. So he'd be able to react from that, and then he won't get caught out by pitting and then save a safety car coming out straight after he's pitted.
Yeah, that's what he's got to be careful of, I think, to be honest. I think that's what everyone's got to be careful of to an extent as well. Joe was on the back of Frey Pepper's AI, and he is throwing these into P11. A very easy move. Frey Pepper, by the way, saying to you, can you invite him? I don't think you can, though, because it will be against the rules of the league, of course, if that happens. Ryan is under pressure, though, from Neymar. Neymar is trying to respond out on track, and the Dane right on the back. We'll go on board instead with Ryan, because I know people are going to be complaining at me for Ryan on board with Neymar too much, and there being that roughing that glitch, of course, that's still in the game. Ryan is 14 seconds off the back of Magnus. Magnus is leading. Exy is second. Exy has got no chance, to be honest, to try and catch up to the back of Magnus. Magnus is just too quick at this stage. It's like F1 AMG in Division 3 this season, where he picked up the championship, of course. Khan then threw on Frey Pepper's AI further down the field. But actually, this battle, Ryan and Neymar, because they're so close, is now beginning to bring Barcelona and Mitchell into play. Atlas Coppo not entirely out of this either. I think we're beginning to see a 4-way, 5-way battle for third possibly been developed right in front of our eyes now.
Yeah, that end plate damage will obviously be slowly killing the front tyres on Ryan's car. I was surprised he caught up and passed Neymar, considering that he had that damage, and that's what's allowing the front two to just get away. X's nearly got a 10-second gap at this moment in time, and Neymar, I think he needs to get a move on all of a sudden, because you can see this queue of cars coming up behind him, and Mitchell is getting dragged along with them at the moment. This is not a bad situation whatsoever for him, and it won't be too long before Atlas is involved, and then maybe Storm and some of the others. And here comes Neymar down the inside into turn 8, gets the position done, but Ryan might be able to get the better exit here, and even with that broken front wing, might be able to fight back all the way through turn 10. No. Not the smoothest of exits, though, from Ryan. Neymar might just be far enough ahead here, unless Ryan absolutely sends one down the inside. Wiser chooses not to. That's Neymar up into third. Now it's the other McLaren's turn to see if he can get ahead of Ryan, but he's probably going to be stuck behind him for nearly an entire lap.
Yeah, he is, and look at Atlas Coppo. He's only 1.3, 1.4 seconds now off the back of Mitchell, and he's now beginning to join on the fray as well. So Neymar is through and he's into third. You would imagine they'll begin to pull away out on track. It's lap 6 out of 28, just about to go into lap 7. In fact, Magnus leads by 5.4 seconds from XC in second. Neymar in third with Ryan in fourth. Barcelona in fifth, Mitchell in sixth. Atlas Coppo getting there, 1.2 seconds off the back of Mitchell in sixth position. Of course, Mitchell, Atlas Coppo in seventh. Mitchell now on the back of Barcelona, coming out the final corner to start lap 7. We're already a quarter of the way through. Magnus leading, XC second, Neymar in third. But now Mitchell trying to apply a bit of pressure. You would imagine, actually, that the set of mediums will begin to be quicker than the set of soft compound tyre out on track, probably from around this point in the race. So Mitchell might have a bit of pace about him, and he might be the one to watch, actually. XL Ryan mentioned it in the comment section that there could be a guy to watch on a set of mediums that could pull off the absolute undercut of the century, and Mitchell could be that guy.
He could be indeed. He's in a fantastic situation at the moment. Barcelona is just going to be dragging him along. And in fact, Barcelona nearly dropped outside of DRS range there of Ryan. And if he's not careful, could be outside of DRS range by the time we come down the next straight. So there might be a bit of a chance there. Atlas Copo on the back of Mitchell as well. Neymar's really not getting away from Ryan as much as you'd have expected. I thought in that final sector alone, he might have been able to nearly pull away. That 1 second window was, Mitchell's made a slight mistake, I think, and Atlas Copo has been able to get through, because that was very late coming through turn 9 into turn 10. So whether there was a slight mistake from the Alfa Romeo driver, that has helped Atlas Copo up into 6th place. But yeah, Ryan hanging on to the back of Neymar, and it's not like Barcelona's hounding him.
Yeah, it isn't, and Barcelona in 5th. Atlas Copo, getting through as a result of a Mitchell mistake. Mitchell, I think, got caught on the outside curb coming through turn 8 and 9, and that's why he lost the position to Atlas Copo, and he nearly actually ran into the back of him there. Atlas Copo now under sustained pressure. Neymar pulling away from Ryan. Ryan indeed pulling away from Barcelona now as well. You would imagine these guys on the side soft will begin to pit in, and speaking of which, as Mitchell picks up a 3-second time penalty, Ryan is in. That damage is too much for him to continue on, and he's now into the pit stops, and I would imagine it's going to be medium soft possibly from here on in for Ryan. He can get to about lap 18, and he's on to a set of mediums. Definitely avoid the set of hards out on track. And Ryan in 10th position then is into the pit stop. He's getting a front wing change, which is going to add more time to his pit stop. Barcelona now under pressure from Atlas Copo. Mitchell beginning to pressurise as well. And look at Storm. Storm's drawn into this as well.
Yeah, this is what's happened with Neymar not really having a lot of pace, and then Ryan obviously having that front wing damage. It's allowed what was just a battle between those two to drag Barcelona, Atlas Copo and Mitchell up. And Barcelona here feeling the need to go defensive on the run down towards turn 8. Can Atlas Copo go all the way around the outside? He's going to have to pull off moves similar to what Rosberg did in 2016, and he just finds himself getting chopped off there. Mitchell losing all his momentum, and Storm might be in a fantastic position here. He's got one of the cars. Is he going to be able to get 2 of them? He's running very low on the RS. He's now going to send the Red Bull all the way around the outside down towards turn 11. Can't quite pull the move off there, and I think Mitchell ended up giving him a slight tap, and he's still alongside. No. This is not ending well. And I think, thankfully, they've all realised that they've got to try and get to the end of the race with all parts of their car intact. Atlas Copo in 5th, Storm in 6th for now, but Mitchell sends one up the inside and goes up into 6th place. And the biggest winner from all that was Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona's now pulled away by 2.1 seconds as a result of all that. Atlas Copo ran out wide. He thought that Storm was coming down the inside of him and was going to cannon into him, I think. That's why he took avoiding action and ran the outside. Now he gets on the power again. Now he begins to catch up. All of this battling, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that Magnus has pretty much got a full pit stop now over Neymar, pretty much out on track. XE is pretty much edging towards that same gap as well. Sargate then is into the pit lane. He saw all of that and thought, you know what, I'm not getting involved in all of this. He's into the pit lane. On to set of medium compound tyres he will go, and he should be ahead of Frey Pepper's AI when coming out of the pit lane in the AlphaTauri. Khan just going through camera shot, Ryan going through camera shot, and yeah, he's going to be well out ahead of Frey Pepper's AI car out on track. Mitchell is now beginning to try and be pressurised by Storm once again. Atlas Copo is 1.2 seconds off the back of Barcelona. Barcelona doesn't look like he's got any pace at this stage, but you never know. Formula 1 and all of that. Magnus leading the way, XE in 2nd, Neymar in 3rd. Gap from Magnus down to Neymar is 22.4 seconds out on track, which is just absolutely insane.
This is crazy pace at this moment in time. Magnus is just absolutely flying at the moment. No one can stop him. And with this sort of pace, I'm beginning to wonder, is he just fantastic around Abu Dhabi? Or why has he not won every single race this season if he's being this dominant around this? This could genuinely be one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen. I've never seen someone constantly in a league race where drivers are meant to be close together just pulling out nearly a second a lap on average at the moment. He's just cruising around. He could probably afford to save his tyres, save a bit of BRS, get on the one-stop strategy, and be well ahead of everyone else. He could end up pulling off the Grand Slam in this race. A pole fastest
Oh,
lap.
safety car!
Winning by leading every lap, and there's a safety car, and I think that is Luke Ajax through turn 3.
Luke Ajax through turn 3, yeah. I didn't see that pop up on the bottom of my screen. So Luke Ajax is ran coming through turn 3. Maximus takes the opportunity then to come into the pit lane. And that, actually, and Joro's crashing into the pit lane. Joro's crashing into the pit lane. Khan nearly caught up by that as well. But Joro's crashing into the pit lane as well. Rookie error from Joro into the pit lane. Saigate managed to get through okay. Fred Pepper's AI is still in there as well. But Magnus, that commanding advantage that he had is now completely taken away from him. Exy and Neymar are going to be pitting in. You would imagine that these guys will pit in probably for a set of mediums, try to get to the end of the race out on track, or maybe a set of hards if they want to really try and push it. But Magnus now leading the way. He's got a 6.5 second gap at this moment in time, but now this is the point out on track where Magnus has got to put in very consistent laps. If he decides to come into the pit lane, we will wait and see. But Magnus, all of that hard work, all of that 24-second advantage that he got out to Neymar, ripped away because of Luke Ajax crashing and Joro crashing as well, and the safety car is out on track here in Division 4.
Yeah, I think we're going to see definitely other soft runners coming into the pits here. This is probably not a good idea for the medium. Actually, for the mediums, if you've got 2 fresh sets of soft tyres, I'd think about coming in now and doing softs if I was on the medium, if I'm being perfectly honest. Magnus is in. Set of medium tyres will be going onto his car, and he's going to be well clear. He's going to be back out again before X is even anywhere near towards where his garbage in. X will be coming in as well. It's going to be a set of yellow and black tyres on the yellow and black car. This might be a bit bad news for the McLarens though. Barcelona could lose out here because he will lose in the double stack.
Yeah, he is going to lose in the double stack. Mitchell in, Storm is in as well. Alex Cooper tries to go through in Barcelona into the pit lane, trying to take a cheeky position, but Magnus then is out in front, and he's got what would have been a 10.5 second lead if the pit stops were to happen normally, but the safety car is out, and Magnus leading the way. Exy in second, Neymar in third. Mitchell then, how's he jumped Atlas Coppo, Storm and Barcelona?
I'm not sure. Atlas Coppo did look a bit slow in the stops, if I'm being perfectly honest. It just looked as though there was a bit of a delay with the Ferrari team getting the tyres out. Not like Ferrari would ever be as slightly delayed in doing a pit stop. They're a very well-drilled team, as everyone who's watched Formula 1 hasn't seen in recent times. But that's all I can think it's been. What's more interesting is why is Mitchell... Well, he was on the mediums, wasn't he? So I can kind of see why he's gone for the hards. But I think I'd have rather done what Storm has done. Just go for the soft tyres, and you should be able to blitz your way past these cars. Mitchell's just going to drop down the field all of a sudden. Storm's going to, you'd imagine, blist ahead of Atlas Coppo and Mitchell. How many cars can Storm pass in that early stage? Because he's going to be so quick on those soft tyres before he comes in and puts on another set of soft tyres towards the end of the race. Interesting to see what different strategies everyone's gone on. I'm not sure why Saigate had pitted, because he'd only done 1 lap on his mediums.
Yeah, he's on to a fresh set of mediums as well out on track, which might mean him getting towards the end of the race will remain to be seen. But the safety car is out, lap 11 out of 28 about to end, going on to lap 12. Pretty much the same safety car period actually in Division 5 a few minutes ago as well. Ryan got lucky, says Mark. Yeah, he's in 4th position, but he's been put onto a set of medium compounder tyres, and it's worn medium compounder tyres as well. So inevitably, he is going to have to come into the pit lane. It's going to be a very same scenario than Division 2 last night, because Ryan, I think it was Cowboy last night, who pitted in. He went on 2 lap all mediums. He had to pit in towards the end of the race. Everyone else managed to get to the end on a one-stop strategy from that safety car coming out. And that might mean Ryan has got to pit in, and Ryan will have to pit in before the end of the race, because it might mean Magnus, Exy and Neymar, all on a fresh set of tyres, are the guys to watch out for in this race, rather than Ryan, who's down in 4th, and, of course, he is going to be thingy. And actually, just speaking about Mitchell, he's not a new driver, it is Hoop. Hoop from last week, who debuted a few weeks ago. It's him. Very strange.
That's good information to know. I wish I could say I knew more about how he'd done so far this season. I've got to be 100% honest, but he's not doing too bad so far, is he? 5th position, yes. I don't think the hard tyres were a good idea, yes. He's got a penalty, but we could wait and see, because some of those mediums are going to be borderline towards the end of the race, especially Ryan's on a slightly older set. of medium tyres. In fact, Ryan might struggle, not loads, but he might struggle a bit more than some of those around him on tyre warm-up. Storm should have by far the best tyre warm-up when the safety car comes in, and it will be at the end of this lap. And Magnus has now got to try and build all that lead again, and probably try and get towards the end on these tyres. He is leaving quite a bit of a gap to the safety car, and then speeds up and brakes late. That's just to try and get some heat into the brakes and get some warmth into the tyres that way, rather than scrubbing them across the track. But he's still looking fairly good at the moment, but it has closed the field up ever so slightly, and maybe at Lascopo you'd expect him to get ahead of Mitchell, maybe ahead of Ryan before the end of this race. In fact, he might get past them fairly quickly depending on how condition their tyres in. He's just got to try and work his way up the order and force a mistake from his teammate who wants to keep this championship alive.
Yeah, Magnus then out on top. Safety car now in this lap. Beautifully timeless. Magnus now is the virtual Bud Merlander out on track. Atlas Corporal in 6th position in the championship. As it stands, Magnus will win the championship. Heads down. He has got to put his head down and now absolutely fly away from Exy. I think he'll go on the exit of turn 20 into 21, and Magnus will be hoping that he can try and break the hearts and the expectations of Exy and Neymar in behind. But Magnus is in the pole seat. He is it. He is the man to beat out on track. He's been imperious so far, but their safety car has now brought out a change, and that means everyone else has now got a chance to try and get Magnus where it hurts most. He is speeding up now in towards turn 20, then in towards turn 21. It looks like he's going to try and say go, and he has said go, and what a restart that is. He's already pulled a second on Exy. Magnus has already pulled DRS over Exy. What a restart that is, and he's absolutely imperious running down in towards turn 1. We're back on the way, and Magnus probably was one of the best restarts I've seen under a safety car. He leads by 1.2 seconds. Exy in second, Neymar in third. Absolutely zero response from him behind.
Yeah, they were expecting any chance of a battle, any slight hope of the battle's just, I think, gone out the window straight away. What a restart from Magnus. I mean, Exy didn't do too bad because Neymar wasn't that close. It did get very spaced out all of a sudden. Storm's finding it difficult with all of this traffic, but he did pull out a bit of a gap ahead of Barcelona. So it is this 5th, 6th and 7th that are the closest at the moment. Will any of them use the ARS to try and have a go down the straight? Mitchell is. Storm's closing into Atlas, but he's too far behind to try and have a go this time around. Just got to think about getting a much better run there as Sigate gets ahead of Khan using those medium tyres. He's up into 10th place.
And Storm's right on the back of Atlas Copel and actually sails on by Atlas Copel on the right hand side of the F2 pit straight. He is through and he's into 6th position is Storm, and now makes one move already. Mitchell and Ryan next up. Neymar is in behind him as well, but the front two are beginning to blow. The front two are just in a different class at this moment in time. We're nearly at the halfway stage. It's probably going to be one of the longest races of the season. Magnus out on top from Exy in second, Neymar in third, with Ryan in fourth, but Storm making that move on Atlas Copel. Atlas Copel has now got to try and bite back. He has got to try and put him under pressure. Mitchell picks him up for 3 second time, but he has now Storm on the outside line. Is going to absolutely lap that up. A mistake from Mitchell. Storm is through and he's into 5th position. Another one is now completed. He's got a bit of clear air as well to run onto the back of Ryan. It's 0.6 of a second coming across the line. Got plenty of penalties in behind as well. Mitchell, Atlas Copel, Barcelona, Maximus, Sygate and Khan have all picked up penalties. There are the penalties update. Mitchell's got 9. 3 seconds for Atlas Copel, Barcelona, Maximus, Sygate and Khan have got 6. And Atlas Copel now right on the back of Mitchell, and Mitchell now under pressure. Mediums against hard. You would imagine that the mediums are going to come into play in terms of Atlas Copel. Storm pressurising as well on the back of Ryan. Set of softs against a set of mediums. Of course, DRS is not enabled until next lap around. Magnus out on top. Exy second, Neymar on third, Ryan in fourth, but is Storm going to have a go at Ryan? I think he is. He's committed to this as Storm. Now to the inside line. He will pull alongside. Is he going to get the move done? Is he going to be late on the brakes down in towards turn number 8? Yes, he is. He's got the inside line, and Ryan just gives up, I think. Storm is through, and he's into 4th.
Yeah, fantastic for Storm. I felt like he had to definitely get Ryan on this lap, because now we're going to get the DRS off Neymar next time around. Should be able to get past him fairly straightforward, and you'd imagine you'd be able to use those 3 tyres slightly, because he would have wanted a bit more fresh air to use those soft tyres at this moment, but still not looking too bad from him. Mitchell manages to stay ahead of Atlas Copel, but he's a bit slow coming out of turn 13, and Atlas Copel is able to just go straight round the outside there through 14, 15 and 16, nice and easy indeed. He takes 6th position. Mitchell, probably as we expected, struggling a bit on those
Oh,
hards
it's
at
Storm!
this moment
Oh
in
my
time.
god! Storm trying to go around the outside of Neymar. What a run he had coming out of turn 19. Sorry to cut in there, Luke, but Neymar was really, really slow coming out of the corner. Storm nearly got him out of the exit of turn 19. And he was pretty much side by side with him into the corner. Didn't decide to go for the move, and Neymar stays P3. But Storm, that's the warning shot.
Yeah, that is indeed. That just shows you the tyre grip. All of a sudden, that he's got the three softest tyres that Pirelli bring, obviously, to this circuit. So the C5s are probably equivalent to the Hypersofts that we remember way back from that naming system back in 2018, where Pirelli just came up with as many different adjectives to put in front of the word soft as possible. But Storm's going to get a better exit here. Does he go for it down here into turn 8, or does he go for it into turn 11? I think there's your answer. He's going to sail on through up into third place. He'll have better pace under brakes, but Neymar's got a lot more VRS and might have a slight chance of fighting back into the next chicane. Doesn't look like there's been any moves further back either.
Yeah, 67% of VRS for Neymar. Storm on 18%, trying to pull away, and he wants to try and get onto the back of Exy as well, and that's what he's trying to pull out now. 8% of VRS, but that means that Storm can now break the toe on Neymar, and Neymar's probably not got any chance. Maximus on the back of Barcelona, running in towards turn 11. Rusky Chocolate stays ahead in P8, and he actually picks up a penalty for good measure. So Barcelona now, I think, on 6 seconds worth of penalties. Yeah, Mitchell on 12 as well, but now Maximus right on the back of Barcelona. Swede against the Brit, and the Brit now beginning to pressurise the Swede out on track. Let's hope he doesn't end up like a turnip out on track. That's a terrible one. Magnus out on top, XC second, Storm in third, Neymar fourth, and Ryan in fifth. Atlas Copel in sixth. And I'll tell you what, Maximus has got a hell of a run. Coming out of turn 19, looks to the outside line. If he tried to go around the outside there, I would have probably given him a fiver, but he didn't, and Maximus stays P9.
Yeah, I think it'd cost more than a fiver's worth of damage if you tried to go around the outside of there. It's not a corner. I have enough trouble going around turn 20 on my own. It's one of those corners you think you can carry more speed than you can until you get around there and you're like, well, this is quite a bit sharper than I thought. But thankfully, he thought better of it all of a sudden and was able to hold on to the car at least, to 9th position. Might be able to have a go next time around because Barcelona is not that close to the back of Mitchell, who's almost trying to hold on to those guys up ahead of him. But look at that, already Storm is 2 seconds on the back of Neymar, but he's not exactly catching up to the back of Exy all of a sudden. Not as much as I would have expected him to, and things are looking very calm. Maximus, though, is he close enough to Barcelona to have a lunge into turn 8? No, he is not, but he might get a slightly better exit here. Then the McLaren driver just loses a bit of traction, and I think that might end up costing him in the end. That lack of traction, obviously, in the dirty air, making it very hard for some of these guys to get an overtake.
Barcelona's closing speed on the back of Mitchell as well. Mitchell stays in P7, Barcelona 8th, but I tell you what, Mitchell's tyres are now beginning to go off, and you can really see the mediums beginning to come quicker than the set of hards. Initially, Mitchell got a really good start under that safety car. He got 5th position off Atlas Coppo. He's now dropped down to 7th as a result. Ryan and Atlas Coppo have then gone through on him, and the Dutchman is struggling out on track, but the Swede is Barcelona, and he's right on the back, and Mitchell again. Another 3-second time he had on track. He has got to be very careful. I have seen a driver get disqualified around here for picking up too many time penalties, and he might be another one. Back up full foul of that. Magnus leading by 3.4 seconds. Exy in second. Storm, has he made a mistake? Because it was 2 seconds, it's now 3 seconds out on track. And Exy has pulled away significantly, or have we just seen, possibly, mediums get quicker than the softs?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at his sector time. Storm, he was a bit slower last time around in Sector 3 than he had been before. He was a bit slower in Sector 2, obviously, without having any DRS, but there's nothing in there that screams obvious error. Maybe already the softs, he's worn them out ever so slightly, spending a bit of time in traffic. As long as he can get them to around lap 20, he should have no problems of getting a second set towards the end and being very quick with them, but he's going to have a lot of fighting through the field to do on this occasion. Ryan's still on the back of Neymar, still with them older tyres, and Atlas Coppo been going very deep there to try and have a go back at Ryan. Not able to do so. Is the Haas driver going to be able to work his way past the McLaren on an older set of tyres? He's closing in ever so slightly, but without using that ERS, he's just not able to get enough of an overlap. Barcelona likewise on Mitchell. Oh, I must say, he's not doing too bad on those hard tyres. It's not like those ahead are really pulling that gap that you'd expect at the moment.
Yeah, Mitchell in 7th position is doing a fantastic job, I think, to try and hold on. And in fact, he's actually nearly on the back of Atlas Coppo, to be honest. So he could pick up that DRS train for 4th position. Neymar, Ryan, and Atlas Coppo just ahead of him, of course, in that DRS. But the more that Atlas Coppo tries to get a little bit impatient, trying to go for moves on the back, it's going to bring Mitchell, it's going to bring Barcelona, it's going to bring Maximus and the likes into play as well. Magnus leading the way, 4.3 seconds on track. XE second, Storm in third. Storm, that was a better lap from him last time. Now 2.7, so he's gained 0.3 of a second out on track. Neymar in 4th with Ryan in 5th, and Ryan is under consistent pressure now from the back of the Norwegian of Atlas Coppo. Ryan, who was trying to pull off that masterclass strategy, of course, he nearly did it, to be honest, I think. But he's on worn tyres, and Atlas Coppo now right on the back of Ryan, and that has brought actually Mitchell, Barcelona, Maximus all into play. That was the DRS detection zone, and now they're all going to get DRS running down the straight. So there's one big train from 4th all the way down to 10th.
Yeah, I think we will see some moves soon. Maximus got a better run out the hairpin than Barcelona. So Barcelona, he was attacking last time around. He's having to go defensive here on the Haas of Maximus. He's going to be alongside into the braking zone of turn 8. Can Barcelona hold off all the way around the outside? He's trying. I think there might have been a bit of contact there, but he was able to hold on. Very good driving from the pair of them in the end to avoid that being maybe a big incident, as Atlas has gone round the outside of Ryan well ahead before the end of a DRS straight. He's into 5th.
Yeah, good run coming out of turn 10, and Atlas Coppo was through then on Ryan, and the fresher tyres beginning to come into play, team for both Neymar and Atlas Coppo. Ryan just looks like he's lost a little bit of time. Mitchell really getting caught squirrely coming out through turn number 14 there. Barcelona now on the back of him, and the Swede is not done within this fight. Mitchell just made a slight mistake. It's brought now everyone back into a bit of a Constantino effect out on track. Maximus and Saigate are right on the back of him as well. Magnus leading XE second. Storm again has dropped a little bit of pace, 3.2 seconds now the gap. I wouldn't be surprised actually if Storm actually comes into the pit lane next lap around to put on another set of soft compound tyres and then to get to the end of the race out on track, because those tyres are going to be starting to go off now, and if he's not careful, Neymar, Atlas Coppo and Ryan will be breathing down his neck in just a few laps time.
I'd say it's this lap or next lap for Storm. He's got to come into the pits. 9 laps you can do. 8 laps is extremely comfortable, and you don't have to worry about even the tyres getting into that yellow zone of above 60%. So he should be perfectly fine no matter when he comes into the pits. But the mediums will be faster at this moment in time. He'll be lightning quick. But if these drivers are still in the DRS train, we've seen it is fairly difficult to overtake into turn 8. Turns 5 and 6 might be his better opportunity. Atlas Coppo on the back of Neymar, though, on that one down towards turn 8. He's ahead before the corner. He's up into 4th position, but with that penalty, as Maximus gets ahead of Barcelona as well, it's going to be hard for Atlas Coppo to do anything.
Barcelona was catching up to the back of Mitchell. He would have been boxed in there, and that's actually quite smart, I think, from Barcelona. He let Maximus go. Maximus would have got the move done anyways, but now actually Maximus has got a chance at Mitchell, and Mitchell is going to be under a lot of pressure here from the Brit, and the Brit actually just holds off for now. And actually Saigate dives it down the inside of Barcelona, just in behind the AlphaTauri, and the McLaren goes side by side through 13, now through 14. I'll tell you what, Saigate, he might be up for this. He might have dropped the driving standards early on in the race, but he's now coming back. That's a great move. Now down the inside, a little bit aggressive, but I tell you what, Saigate realised there was a gap, he saw it, he went for it, and he's through into 9th.
Yeah, I think that one earlier on might have been a bit of a sighter for that move. Now that he's realised how late you can brake, Storm is into the pits. Very careful on the pit entry, don't want to do the same. That's what we saw George do as well. And
Ryan did as well. Sorry.
Well, Ryan makes some sense. Neymar would have made absolutely no sense. But that shows how confident he is at getting those mediums towards the end. Not at all. He's only got 2 laps older tyres than some of these up ahead. Will we start getting towards puncture territory, I wonder?
Yeah, and I wonder actually if Storm, coming out the pit lane now, he's underneath the tunnel now, coming out the pit lane, he's in clear air, he has got a gap of 29.4 seconds over the back of Magnus. If he eats into that advantage out on track, he could be on for a possible P3 out on track, I think, with Atlas Coppo, Neymar and the likes. Yes, they're getting more strung out. Maximus now on the back of Mitchell. Mitchell is an absolute sitting duck, running down in towards turn 8. Mitchell just moved across slightly on Maximus, for Maximus down the inside line. Is he brave enough to commit the move? Tries to go around the inside, gets the better traction, and Maximus is going to sail on by. Surely he's got 3/4 of the car ahead, now the full car, and Maximus is through and he's into 5th. That was smart driving there for Maximus, and he's through and he's into 5th as I swallow a fly. Maximus through, and he's into 5th. Barcelona right on the back of Saigate as well, trying to pressurise him but not quite close enough. Maximus through and he's into 5th. Mitchell now beginning to drop down the field again.
Yeah, dropping down the field. There's a lot of drivers struggling with their VRS usage at the moment. So if you're Storm and Ryan and you can keep it above that 10% when you start clipping, as it's known on the ERS, they're not going to be in a bad situation because they're going to gain so much time on the corners because of the grip of their soft tyres. They're going to gain so much time on the straights as well, even though all these drivers, yes, they've got DRS, but if they've got no ERS, it's probably cancelling each other out. At the moment, everyone, unsurprisingly, is staying out. Magnus, 8 laps to go, 6.2 second lead. He's looking very good. Fair play to Exy. He's the only driver who's been able to get even close to Magnus's pace so far in this race. He's 6.1 seconds behind, and it's a further 8 seconds back to Atlas Scopo, who is going to get a podium, but it's not going to be enough, I'm afraid.
Or is it going to be a podium? Because we're unsure possibly that these guys on a set of mediums, Maximus and Saiget, I think might have to pit in before the end. The rest can probably make it to the end if they're very careful on their tyres, but they're going to have a rampaging Storm on the back of them if they do come into the pit lane. 27.8 seconds is the gap. Remember what I said, it was 29.4, it's now 27.7, 27.6. The gap is continuously coming down and Storm could be on the back of him. Saiget now on the back of Mitchell, really late on the brakes. Saiget gets the sider down the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact there. But he had pretty much, I would say, half, 3/4 of the car ahead in that move. He's through. And now Barcelona's going to attack Mitchell. And Mitchell, I don't think, is going to be happy with that one, to be honest. Barcelona then through. And he's into 7th. Saiget's driving might just be cause for concern by the stewards. But Saiget through. And he's into 6th. Whether it's hard, whether it's fair, you make it up. But he's into 6th.
Well, it's effective, that's certain. It's working its way through up the field, and I'm not quite sure how in the first one, way back on lap 1, he didn't get any front wing damage. But there we go. He's managing to get ahead. Atlas Scopo gets another penalty there. That could also help out Storm and Ryan, is that they've kept it clean so far. They might just only have to get onto the back of these guys, and they will be able to gain some places. 7 laps to go for our lead cars. Still quite a few coming through the third sector. I'm just going to keep an eye on Storm's time when he crosses the line and compare that to some of the drivers ahead of him. I think he'll be gaining 3.5 seconds easily.
Yeah, he will be. Watch the fastest lap on the bottom of your screen coming across the line. And did he set a fastest lap that time around?
He set his fastest lap, definitely. 36.953 for Storm. If I just compare that to the time of, we'll go for Barcelona 36. On the medium tyres, 39.9. 3 seconds faster than Barcelona at the moment. He's just going to sail up past. He's just going to sail up to them. And if they've not got DRS, they've got no chance of defending. Yeah,
and he's a 10.5 actually off Magnus's fastest lap of the race as well. And now Storm is on the back of Calm as I again swallow a fly. Running down in towards turn number 8. Calm then in 9th, Storm in 10th. Barcelona trying to get onto the back of Saiget just ahead as well. But Storm now with a limited ERS usage, he's going to try and have to save this up to try and have a go at Khan. I think this is done down in towards turn 11. Actually, Mitchell has crashed. Where is that car? What on earth is that? It's like a fucking rodeo out on track. The car is up in the air basically on one wheel above. Storm there on the outside of Khan. He's going to get the move done, and that's brilliant from Storm. He's slipping into 8th position, but Mitchell's car more looking like a bucking Bronco out on track rather than a crash car. He's out of the race, and now that puts him out of contention, and Ryan is now through and he's into 10th. That is a very weird sight to see.
I can only imagine he's lost it out of turn 9.
Yeah.
And then somehow with the game, his front wings clipped under his car and it's got him stuck in midair because there is no way whatsoever. A Formula 1 car should not be at that angle.
I think it was his front right wheel actually underneath the car that was propping it up in the air. Really strange.
On my screen, it looked like it was way more in the air than just a front right. You need a couple of front right wheels to prop your car up that.
Oh, the physics on this game is actually death-defying as Barcelona now tries to death-defy up into P6. Frey Pepper's AI now into P11. Frey Pepper's AI is having a good day, I've got to say, out on track, even though he's not done anything. Barcelona on the back of Saiget. Khan picks up a penalty in the Barcelona, in fact, just losing a little bit of time, coming out of the corner, running down the straight now, running down the slight incline down in towards turn number 8. For Barcelona closing in. I don't think he's going to be close enough. Saiget low is hard enough to defend. I'll tell you what, Barcelona, from all the way this far back, Saiget was entitled to defend the position. Barcelona saw nothing wrong in that at all, to be honest. Saiget through, and he's still in 6th position. Barcelona now, he has got pace in that car. Whether he decides to come from that far back next time around will remain to be seen. Whether we get the move next time around will remain to be seen as well. We've got 5.5 laps to go. It's Magnus who leads Exy in second and Atlas Coppo in third. The top two have been in a different league of their own. At the minute, Magnus is going to be wrapping up the championship as long as Atlas Coppo does not outscore. Basically, Atlas Coppo, Magnus has to DNF at this point, basically, and Atlas Coppo to finish second, and then he's got a chance, a very, very slight chance of wrapping up the title, because it's 25 points to the guy in second if Magnus was to DNF. But I hope he doesn't, because he's been absolutely dominant out on track. And Storm right on the back of Barcelona through final corner.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to even think about moving to turn 1. No. Barcelona has to go defensive with the ERS here, which is going to save him for turn 1 and sector 1, but I imagine Storm's just going to get such a good run. He doesn't want to get too close to the back of Barcelona, and that's what's happened. He was too close to the back of him through these corners, so he's not going to be able to send one into turn 5 down the inside, which I think is what he would have been thinking about, and Barcelona now will have the DRS to help him defend on this next straight. But I don't know whether it'll be worth him maybe letting Storm through and then trying to follow Storm through when he inevitably catches up to the back of Sidegate, because if he just defends here, he could end up losing the ERS and ruining any chances of him catching up to the Alpha Tauri. But you can see Storm, without any ERS, he's not able to do anything at the moment.
Yeah, he's bombing out in terms of that ERS out on track. Maximus, by the way, has got a good run out of turn 9. He's on the back of Neymar. Neymar now under a significant pressure, but again, he's another one that's bombing out in terms of the ERS. He's only got 3.5 tenths to find, but it's not going to be good enough. Storm now on the back of Barcelona, trying to look, but again, really, really limited in terms of his ERS usage. He's got to save that up. I think save it up now while you're stuck behind Barcelona and Sidegate. Try and get the move done down and towards turn 8 next time around, and Storm could have about 40% of ERS running around into that, and he could get the move done on both of them, possibly 3 wide, running down the straight. There's actually, he dived and into the back of Barcelona very late in the break. So much commitment in the back of Storm, but he's got to save up that ERS, and now is pretty much the time to do that, and he actually gets far from the free position. Barcelona on the outside line, Storm is through and he's into 7th. That was easy.
Yeah, I don't know if Barcelona made a mistake there. I just thought, I'm better off letting you through. He's got a 3-second time penalty. That is not ideal, so Storm should find it fairly straightforward on Sidegate. Maximus still up to the back of Neymar, and these are our main battles at the moment. Ryan's starting to close up towards the back of Khan at this moment in time, so Ryan, he's not made perhaps as much progress on the soft tyres as Storm has, but look how close Storm is to be back of Sidegate all of a sudden. As long as you're behind at the detection point, this should be a straightforward move, but he is behind at the detection point. Down the inside he goes. Storm has got 6th position. I don't think that's worked out for Sidegate as well as he was hoping, because he's not going to have DRS this time, but Barcelona probably too far back, as Maximus has managed to go all the way around the outside of Neymar on the run down to turn 8. Now can that McLaren try and get past the Haas?
Yeah, good job by Maximus. He's through and he's into 4th. I think he's got fresher tyres in that car. Hasn't been locking up as much as Neymar, but now Neymar is going to try and fight back. And look at the overspeed that Neymar has got to the outside line. This is a job done from Neymar. He is through. Maximus is going to try and hang on in there, but Neymar is through and he's into 4th position. Ryan, by the way, is on the back of Khan, running down in towards turn 11 as well. This is further down the field for 9th, and Ryan sails it around the outside. Khan in the end just decided to let him through basically on the brakes, and Ryan is through and he's into 9th position. He can hunt down Barcelona, Sidegate and Storm. Actually, with Ryan, I'm not ruling him out possibly of a top 5 here. He's got no penalties out on track. Everyone else has in front of him. Ryan could be on for possible P5. Storm could be on for possible podium.
He could be indeed, because the 2 drivers ahead of him have got 3 seconds of penalties, and Atlas Coppo has got 6 seconds. So if he can manage to... If Neymar and Maximus close onto the back of Atlas Coppo, which doesn't look possible at the moment, but if they did, Storm might not even need to get ahead of them all to get a podium. I think he will be getting ahead of them, because I think some of their tyres will be second best. Those on 15 laps, probably not enjoying it whatsoever. Khan, I can kind of see why he went for the hard tyres, but I think from him and Mitchell, we could say it safely hasn't worked. There's a yellow flag there, and that's Maximus who's off.
Maximus off through turn 3, car killer corner, it's kept going. Oh my goodness me, that could have been disastrous, but now Maximus is down into P9. There goes one of the guys that was running in front of Storm, and he's got really overheated tyres on the rear right, so I'm guessing he's probably coming out of turn 3, and that now means he's now down into 9th position. Khan is on the back of him, running down. This should be easy pickings, I think, for Khan. He's going to get the move done down the inside line, already halfway down the straight. Maximus is not going to fight that. Khan is through, and he's into 9th position. Maximus down into 10th. Storm is 1.5 seconds away from Neymar, and he's only 5.7, 5.8 seconds away from Atlas Coppo. Could be on for podium out on track, but Magnus out on track has been absolutely excellent. He's been absolutely excellent. He's coming around the final corner. He's been absolutely dominant. And now, coming through the final corners to start the penultimate lap of the race, he's on course for the championship.
Yeah, and he's not even pushing. Look at his ERS usage at the moment. He's at about 65, 70%. EXI is on 8%. Atlas Coppo's in the 30s, and everyone else is struggling around the 10% points. So it's not like he's even having to use a lot of his ERS. He's just taking it nice and easy and being nice and careful. Probably saving those rear tyres just in case he gets into a bit of trouble later on. But yeah, Storm, he should be good for third position. All of a sudden his softs will be beginning to feel a bit bad, but so will the mediums on everyone around him. As Maximus comes into the pits, I can't really blame him. The only car behind him isn't taking any part. Is Fraser Peppers. Put the softs on, you might get yourself an extra bonus point, because 16 lap old tyres that have done a few donuts coming through turn 3, they'll be feeling pretty ropey towards the end.
Yeah, they'll be very worn towards the end of the race for sure. Storm now on the back of Neymar. I've got to say, it looks like easy pickings at this stage, but I think he's going to wait until turn 11. He's not going to be close enough. He's just going to reel him in. He's like a fishing rod. He's like a fish on a fishing rod at this stage, and Storm's just trying to reel him in at this stage. Neymar on 4th. Storm actually just breaks slightly later. Storm now on the inside line, just gets caught on the curb, but now he's going to have to attack Neymar on the penultimate lap of the race. He does not want to end this up in a collision with them both. And now Neymar will try and defend. Storm just hangs on, and Storm will have to wait at least another half a lap, another 3/4 of a lap to try and get the move done then and towards turn 8, but he's pressurising him. Neymar in 4th, but Storm in 5th. So I get in Barcelona in behind as well, trying to have a battle with Ryan, catching both of them as well. He's not entirely out of a top 5 P5 finish out on track, but Magnus now across the line to start the final lap of the race. He's already through turn 2 and 3. We are seeing an absolute dominant win. It's going to be a second win in a row as well for Magnus out on track, as long as he doesn't bottle it on this final lap. But knowing Maximus, he probably won't, as Ryan right on the back of Barcelona coming out of turn 20.
Yeah, Ryan right on the back of Barcelona. Is he going to be able to have a go coming towards turn 1 on Barcelona?
No.
Not this time around. If he can stay far enough away, as we suggested what Storm could do, coming through these first couple of corners, he might be able to go down turn 5. He's probably just a bit too far back, maybe, better than being too close. So Barcelona runs very wide indeed. Is this going to be a chance? No, it is not. Further up the field, Storm behind Neymar. All of a sudden, Storm's got to really get past Neymar this time around, because Atlas Coppo is nearly 6 seconds ahead of him. All of a sudden, Magnus into the final sector. Is Storm close enough? No, he's not. Right, though, right on the back of Barcelona. Has the McLaren got the DRS? Yes, he has. And he's using his overtake ever so slightly. That probably won't be helping him too much at the moment. Storm, though, back to the battle for 4th position on track.
He's got to get him.
Can he line up this corner better? Yes, he can. He's got the DRS. This should be a fairly straightforward move.
Lovely switch to the inside there from Storm, and he now comes through into P4 out on track, and he's got 5.9 seconds. He's on the bubble. Neymar tries to go around the outside of him, and that just drops him out of 6 seconds. Magnus, in the meantime, ran the final corner. He is your TTML Division 4 champion, and an absolute imperious win out on track. Magnus has won. Exi is coming across the line and taking it 14 seconds down at the end. Ryan is through on Barcelona down in towards, I think that was turn 17. That he got that move done. Exi across the line in 2nd. Atlas Coppo, he tried valiantly to try and bring the fight, and in fact he's going to be beaten by Storm out on track as Atlas Coppo comes across the line to finish in P3 out on track. Storm now around the final corner. He's going to pick up, I think, his 2nd podium of the season. Storm is through and he's into 3rd. Atlas Coppo in 4th. Neymar in 5th. Ryan is really on the back of Saika, and he actually gets 5th in the end, so he does get my prediction right. Barcelona in 8th. Khan in 9th, and we'll wait on Maximus to finish in 10th. That is the end then of TTML Division 4. Magnus has won. Exi in 2nd. Storm in 3rd. Maximus around the final corner. Is he going to set the new fastest lap of the race? I don't think he is. Comes across the line. And he does. He does set the new fastest lap of the race. What does this commentator know?
Yeah, gets that extra point. What a performance by Magnus. Pretty much unstoppable with that sort of drive. Driver of the day, well, he definitely provided the most on-track entertainment, I think you could argue. Storm with all those moves towards the end, but yeah, just a fantastic performance from Magnus Powell. He would have had the perfect race if it wasn't for that fastest lap towards the end for Maximus, so the Grand Chelem not quite going his way. He won't care though, he's the Division 4 champion.
He will not care whatsoever. Mark, by the way, made a comment in the comment section saying he'll be good in Division 2, let alone Division 3 next season. And yeah, I totally cement that, I think. Magnus, just imperious out on track. Probably one of the most dominant drives you could have ever seen in sim racing, barring that safety car. If that safety car wasn't then, he could have won by about the first sector. Honestly, so impressive. And Magnus has won from first on the grid. He completes pole position and the race win, but not the fastest lap. XE in second, Storm from 11th on the grid up to third. Really good performance from him. With Atlas Coppo in fourth, Ryan in fifth, Neymar in sixth, Saigate in seventh, Barcelona with penalties down in eighth. Khan actually not too far off him in ninth, with Maximus in 10th. Frey Pepper's AI does finish in 11th. He doesn't pick up any points, however. Mitchell with 15 seconds worth of penalties down in 12th. Joro, Luke, IX and Mersault 13th, 14th and 15th position. Shall we try and get the top 3 in?
Well, give it a go, yes. I mean, Magnus, I'm in awe. I mean, absolute awe that he was that just so much quicker than everyone else. That Storm couldn't do a faster lap on the soft tyres than Magnus could do on a set of medium tyres when he had more fuel on board. Which
was just absolutely astounding. I mean, he pulled 24 seconds over Neymar before that safety car. Absolutely unreal drive. Probably his best drive of the season, I've got to say. Even though he was dominant last time out in Brazil, and even though he was dominant in his other race win as well this season, that is probably the most impressive drive you could have ever seen in any TTML division race this season. So impressive. And that is it for myself and Luke Etheridge here tonight. Of course, we wait for the interviewees to come in, but that is the end for TTML as Season 3 Division 5 also ended just before us as well. And mark this in your calendar, the 16th of April, the day I'm off work, we are going to be back in for the round 1 of the championship. And round 1 of the championship in TTML next season, of course, is the British Grand Prix. So make that note in your calendar, 16th of April for TTML Division 4. Myself and Paco Suarez are going to be taking you through the action through the all 10 races out on track leading up into the new game. Singapore final round of the season. Who decided to choose Singapore final round? I do not know. But Britain on top for round 1 of the championship in 2 weeks' time. And if you're thinking of racing next week, and if you're in the Division 4 versus Division 5 battle, then I will see you then, of course, as well. And hopefully we are going to get the top 3 in. I know certainly 2 of them will probably join, but let's find out.
I mean, we've tried, yeah. It was quite a long race, actually, for an Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 48 minutes towards the end, with that safety car period, which could have changed things quite dramatically. But Magnus's restart, XE, it's not exactly XE was napping, because he managed to pull out about half a second to a second on Neymar behind him all of a sudden. Those two were by far the dominant drivers. I mean, we consider that XE, yes, he finished 14 seconds ahead of Magnus. He was 15 seconds ahead of Storm. Take Magnus out of this race, we'd have been saying, what a dominant performance from the Renault driver.
And speaking of domination, speaking of being imperious, Magnus has joined us in the commentary box. He is the TTML Division 4 champion. Not only that, he took the race win in Abu Dhabi, and if it wasn't for the safety car, he could have won by about half the track. Magnus, talk us through that race.
Yeah, I think it went after according to plan. I think this was I got lucky with the timing of the safety car, because that was just like 1 or 2 laps before I was going into the pits anyway. So yeah, it was just managing tires and yeah.
Apart from that safety car, you didn't see another car in that race.
No, I didn't.
That was honestly, it just profound me. I know Luke was mentioned in the commentary box as well. That he has never seen, I don't think, a dominant performance in the first 5 laps of a race compared to in any league, I think, in sim racing, which was just fantastic from his perspective as well. But just talk us through that safety car, because you mentioned it came out for you at the right point. Were you always going to do that one stop towards the end of the race?
Yeah, my plan was to do a soft medium, so I was going in on like lap 11, 12, 13 anyway, and I think the safety car came at lap 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it didn't destroy my tactic at all. So.
It didn't destroy any tactic, I don't think, in this race, because it was just so mesmerising to watch. And I think if any young driver out there wants to take performance from TTML Division 4, or any TTML division this season, take Magnus's performance here, because it was just absolutely unreal. I cannot speak of you highly enough here tonight. Luke, I will pass over to you, because I'm sure you are buzzing to ask him a few questions.
Yeah, fantastic performance. As we said, Magnus, now you said you were always going to do the one stop. If we hadn't have had the new lobby giving you a fresh set of soft tyres, would you have still gone for the one stop, or would you have then done for the more normal two stop?
My plan was one stop either way. So I feel like I'm good at managing tires, and especially when I just get to stay in the front all by myself. It isn't too difficult. So yeah, my plan was always to do the one stop.
This must give you a lot of confidence as well heading into next season. You know, like, I imagine with pace like that, you should definitely be moving up a division. If you keep driving like that, you might end up moving 2 divisions. But you must have a lot of confidence now heading into the next season that you can put in some good performances no matter where you end up.
Yeah, it was a good end to the season, both here and in Brazil. I didn't see another car in any of the races, so yeah, hoping to maybe get up to Division 2 to fight with Sjonnes and Isotopic to compete with the other Norwegians.
I think
we'll have to wait and see. Congratulations on your title, and I'll hand you back to James.
Yeah, just Mark saying in the comment section as well, Magnus should go to Division 2. Your time in qualifying would have put you top 5 in Division 2.
Oh, okay.
Which I covered last night, and that just seriously impressive. Honestly, I think there was only like 2 occasions where you went onto the pad. That was the only time you didn't set a pole position, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, at Monza, I didn't have my wheel. I drove on the pad, so that was the only qualifying I didn't get pole. So.
Well, it's a pretty good record to take into next season, I've got to give you that. And Division 3, I'm sure, will be lapping you up next season, because, of course, you get automatically promoted. You never know, you might be in Division 2 with Mike Edwards and an unnamed lead commentator in Division 2 there as well. But go and enjoy your evening, because you absolutely deserve it. Go and get a cold one on us. We don't promote drinking. I hope you're old enough to drink. So there we are. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that is it. I don't think we've had Exy or Storm join us, if I'm not mistaken. So that is the end then for TTML Division 4 this season. And it's the end for TTML Season 3 this season as well. Now, come across, Luke, I know we spoke about Division 1, our highlights from Division 1. But in terms of Division 4, from tonight's race, 2 things. Your overall thoughts, and who was your driver of the day?
I think for the pure performance, I've got to go for Magnus. I know Storm provided lots of overtakes, and there was just so much dominance. Thoughts on the overall basis, there was a lot of brave battles. I think a lot of drivers there sometimes maybe sending it, maybe just thinking that they've got to send it a bit more, which means you get more overtakes on a track like this. But you've got to be a bit careful if you just get it slightly wrong. And with next season only being a 10-race season, any non-scores with everyone scoring a point could be more crucial, and there are some difficult tracks around there. Japan punishes mistakes, Canada punishes mistakes, and we know Singapore, end of the season, that's going to be an extremely tricky finale for these drivers.
Yeah, it is going to be really tricky, I think, for these drivers, of course. I think my driver of the day has got to go to Magnus. I cannot vote for anybody else bar that, because it was just absolute imperious. And I think, take a shot, if you're watching this back, take a shot for how many times I've said imperious out on track tonight. Or absolutely. There we are. That is the end then for Season 3 of TTML. A big thank you to all of our organisers, to all of our stewards, and to all of the commentary team for providing you the action. To Tom in the graphics tower as well. He's doing the job for Division 1 and Division 2 this season. He'll be on graphics next week for the Division 4 versus Division 5 race. But Season 3 is at an end. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for Season 4. But for the final time, I've been James Head.
I've been Luke Etheridge.
Please take care of yourselves in this crazy world that we all live in, and we will see you next time.